People, Deluded, I'm back again. Now, it's that time of the season where, we're coming to an end, or if we're not at an end, if your club hasn't stopped already, there's only cup competitions. As you lot know, transfer news is only going to accelerate. 99% of it is nonsense, but there isn't too much to speak about regarding football. So from an Arsenal perspective, I might as well speak about what I've come across online. First and foremost, apparently Mikel Arteta has confirmed there will 100% be new additions to his coaching staff at Arsenal next year, although he hasn't specified any names or roles. And you've heard you've heard talk of Mertesacker leaving his role as head of youth development and being a coach. You've obviously seen Santi Cazorla. Just generally, you've heard Arteta kind of bang on about the need to surround himself with good coaches. So we'll have to see what happens in that regards, people. It'd be interesting to see. Pardon me. You look at moving away from that though, and apparently Besiktas want to take Reiss Nelson on loan. Arsenal are unwilling to lose the player and want to keep him as part of the squad. And I think Arteta will use Reiss Nelson as a bit of a project next season and make him a player. I think he's got a lot of faith in Reiss Nelson. There was a period, around it was either the Chelsea United game. There was a period Reiss Nelson when Arteta got the job, he was playing kind of week in, week out. Didn't necessarily take his chances, and Pepe has since come into form. Saka, when he plays out wide, has been a better option. So it's interesting, the competition within places out there. And Reiss Nelson is probably seen as a future at this club, and I want us to persist with Nelson, man. I'd give him one more season, see what he's on. If not, we have to rectify the situation. And if we are going to loan him out, I'd like him to go to the Premier League. To be fair with you, versus what is seen here as. Apologies, people. I was eating a panini. It feels like I got stuff on my face. I want him to be in the Premier League where we can keep a watchful eye and he can get up to grips with the league. Now, moving away from that, and Dani Ceballos, 1 minute he's coming to Arsenal permanently, he's going back to Madrid, he's going to another Spanish team, he's coming back on loan. Again, Arteta's spoken about the two clubs are talking and things into what we can do. You've heard everything, Real Madrid will agree to a new loan, they want a loan with an option to buy, they want a bigger loan fee. There's a lot of things in relation, but AS is reporting Dani Ceballos' extension with Arsenal to continue with them next season is almost done. Apparently, Real Madrid value Dani Ceballos close to 30 million, and apparently the player wants to play regularly to confirm his place within the Spanish national team next year for the Euros. He's open to joining Arsenal or another La Liga time in order to get game time, people. Apparently, Real Madrid want to make cash, so they're likely to ask for a good loan fee and perhaps even a compulsory purchase option. A return to Madrid is complicated as the player doesn't share a good relationship with Zidane. So we'll have to see what happens. On one hand, I want to keep Ceballos if we can't do anything else. On another hand, if we do keep him, I'm going to need him to offer something a bit more creativity, specifically goals and assists, dictating the tempo of the game. Because I think that's what we're lacking a lot in midfield. And I think you look at Dani Ceballos, he does have that in his locker. We want to see a bit more of that. And, maybe keeping him on loan gives us a bit more flexibility elsewhere, people. So we'll have to see. Apparently, Atletico have rejected Arsenal's latest offer for Thomas Partey, and they've insisted they will not sell the Ghana midfielder for less than his €50 million release clause, in pounds 45.5 million. And if we haven't got money, we can't probably front the fees in the way they want to activate the release clause, so we have to be creative. It is obviously frustrating. It does feel what many Arsenal fans thought, in that we're taking around the houses and ultimately Thomas Partey will sign a new deal. Apparently we offered 25 million allegedly plus Guendouzi. Some reports say we've offered other players. That could be Lacazette, that could be someone we don't know about. We could just be floating random options, Torreira, who knows. In which Arsenal are probably looking at it, if we offer 25 million and Guendouzi, we kind of value Guendouzi at 30 to 40, we're giving you 25, that's near enough his release clause, let's get a thing going. We have to be creative in the market, but it is frustrating. Apparently Willian, as well as an offer from the MLS, and his agent has been speaking people about him, apparently he's got 2 Premier League offers, one's from Chelsea and one's from Arsenal. Now there are reports he will sign for Chelsea and sign an extension. There are also reports saying he will not be given that 3 years, it's 2 or nothing, and there's also comments that he'll sign for Arsenal. Now for me, I'm never going to critique a man just because I don't agree with the signing. If he comes, he'll have my full support, but for me it doesn't send out a good message, because it screams to me short-term thinking. Yeah, you can say he's a winner in the league, he's Premier League proven, and I'm a big fan of Williams, but I had to speak with a lot of my Chelsea supporting friends and other fans that don't share this and say, yeah, you might like William, but when he plays for your club and he's consistently there, he's frustrating. And the numbers he puts up is ridiculous. So in a bad sense, it's not, he's a good player. He does make decisive moments. I like Willian, he's good technically. but the numbers are mediocre of a sort, people, you know. And at his age, he's, with all due respect, he's laughing if he signs a 3-year deal. He's getting a 3-year deal. He's spoken about his wife wants to stay in London. He's got a 3-year deal with obviously his financial future restored. He'll get a nice little signing on fee for joining the club. Being a free agent, he's in a position to demand a better wages. And when you look at Kolasinac, was a free signing, he got 100k. Willian probably will get Chelsea wages or just below that. And for Arsenal, it sends a bad message out because it screams short-term thinking. It's another plus 30-year-old that, you know, hasn't got the numbers of Aubameyang. Aubameyang's the only exception, you know. I don't need to scratch whether they're late 30s, early 30s, or players that are past it. It just further puts mediocre players on our wage budget and gives us less room to manoeuvre. It's like, if you're going to sign a winger, there's no point signing Willian. You might as well go for a young player with potential, or try and actively sign better than what you have, you know, or just do what you need to do because you get what you pay for, you know. Willian's a decent player, and Luiz has had a decent season by his own standards, but ultimately, David Luiz is David Luiz, and when it comes to the difficult moments, the decisive moments, he will always let you down. The same will go for Willian. It doesn't scream out long-term thinking. It doesn't scream out strategy. It does scream out, again, getting into bed with agents for the wrong players and doing it the wrong way. So we'll have to see what happens. And hopefully he stays at Chelsea. We'll have my full support if he signs for the club. But signings like Willian will not get me behind it, man. And, you know, to be fair, we can't do much better, really, because we ain't got the P's, but is what it is. Kaya Jarupkin, his agent, as well as Coutinho, has said Coutinho loves playing in the Premier League. He wants to come back. There's genuine interest from clubs. Willian has 2 Premier League offers on the table. So we'll have to see. I mean, he's never going to say nobody's offered anything for my clients. He's got to make out his clients are in high demand. He could just be wassing about it, you know. There could be teams in other countries that want Coutinho, or other Premier League teams that want Coutinho, not just us that are linked. And agents are always going to play coy. They're always going to act like their players are in high demand. With all due respect to Arsenal, Spurs and Leicester, but I can't imagine Coutinho is in any sort of real high demand, no matter how much of a decent player I think he is, when it's just these names linked with him. Because you look at Leicester, you know, it'll be a good signing for them, but it'll be a fall from grace for him, and the financial operations they probably have to put to that. I don't know if they're going to do that. They've just committed to Maddison getting a new deal as well. Unless they sell Chilwell and other things to fund that sort of move in their own creative little way. Spurs would be a good signing, be a marquee signing, but again, with their financial conditions, does he scream longevity? No, he potentially doesn't. Arsenal, like Spurs and Leicester, be taking on a good financial wage obligation. You know, Coutinho can get goals and assists, but his current form might throw you off and things. So we'll have to see what happens in that regard. So hopefully Willian doesn't sign. He'll have my support if he does sign, but I don't really want Willian to sign for the club. Disappointing to hear in relation to Thomas Partey, and in relation to the other news, until I see yellow information on Sky Sports or people on Arsenal.com holding scarves and shirts, it's all West. But on that note, I'm going to get out of here. It's always a pleasure. People, DG, I'm out.